134th meeting of the Equal Employment Practices Commission. Okay, can I have a vote on the approval of the meeting minutes of September 12th, 2019?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There is new business. You wanna tell us about it?
Yes, so, I was involved with Sharice in this, and she can probably give you, provide more information if you need further clarification at the next meeting, but, as you know, we have a reporting relationship with DCAS that's unorthodox, because they report to us for certain things, and we have the right to oversee, their policies and practices and procedures, et cetera. Yet, all city agencies have to report to them about complaint activity and sexual harassment training under the law. So we recently got a request regarding sexual harassment prevention training, and I reached out to their deputy general counsel via letter and indicated to him that we would be providing our own training. Under the law, DCAS does have to approve that training, so we will provide the information regarding that. But we felt it was necessary because of this, to kind of memorialize the way that the EPC plans to handle these requests going forward, which is if the request comes from DCAS or the OCEI and it's predicated upon the city policy, we are not necessarily obligated to follow it because we don't follow the citywide policy, we follow our uniform standards. So we can make an assessment then whether or not it's in line with our standards and bring it to the commissioners for deliberation and a vote and whatever results from that vote. If it's not predicated upon the uniform standards, we may be more inclined to, if it's not predicated on the citywide policy, we may be more inclined to be following it if it's predicated in law. So basically the resolution before you, which is, I wanna say, R2? Yeah, R2 is, it sets forth the different relationship, the rights of the EPC under the charter, the rights of DCAS under the charter and the law, where that kind of friction comes in and how the EPC plans to handle it. The other thing is we're often requested to go and sit at like best practices meetings or attend trainings, and we've as part of the citywide agencies, and we've decided, and in the past we've done it as a observer participant, not necessarily a participant that's being trained. So that's something that we're memorializing in this resolution. So I did send it to you on Friday. Is there any questions or any other information? Okay.
Nice summary.
Thanks.
I guess there is a question.
Sure.
Which is, what if they say, we don't agree? Then what?
Well, I think that it depends on what they're saying they don't agree with.
Well, I'm just playing devil's advocate, whether they're not unlike our dear friends elsewhere who say, we are the city agency that sets forth all of the performance standards for employees. You are an auditing agency, and since we are the dominant agency, we don't agree that you don't have to abide by what we do. You do. So I guess, play it out. Who then mediates the dispute between us? It can't be the mayor, because we don't quote report to the mayor. So who mediates it, or do you just assume if they say yes, this is a non-question. If they say no, my question goes back to then what?
Well, I think that we are taking it on a case-by-case basis, so we're not, and that's the point of this, that we're not making a blanket, we're not doing anything DCAS related, or we are going to do everything that DCAS asks of us. This is to set forth that we're going to take each individual question or mandate at.
But their response to you is you can't do that. You can't do that. We're in charge,
Right.
You have to follow us. And then my question is, then what?
Right, and I guess my related question too is what enforcement DCAS has in that, right? So to me, I felt like you weren't submitting this in order to get a permission, yes or no, but that you were informing, right? So you're just informing, this is the way that you're moving forward,
Yes.
right?
That's
So
exactly.
if you're informing them of that and they, in fact, say, no, you can't do it because they take on this posture that they can yes or no you, then what is their, either one's enforcement, do you know what I'm saying?
But their enforcement is, they then go to the mayor and say, they're not complying with our rules. I don't know what the mayor then does, but,
Well, for example, one of the mandates is reporting of the sexual harassment complaint activity. We have to annually report that. We are reporting that because it's an aggregate number and we are part of the aggregate and it's not predicated upon citywide policy, it's predicated on law. So they have to, from my understanding, under the law, submit a report to the city council and mayor based upon that information. So I guess that would just be what they would put in the report, if we were not going to report, which we are, but if, in those instances, whatever is their reporting mechanism, then they would just indicate
we're not complying.
that we're not complying. I think that would be the only way, we haven't gotten into a place where it's been, to my knowledge, contentious. It's been more they're requesting stuff repeatedly because we're on like a listserv. And we just wanna make it clear that we're not ignoring you, but we've made a conscious decision that because this is predicated upon citywide policy, we don't follow citywide policy. We're gonna be doing what we follow, which is maybe a parallel practice or something that's in line with our uniform standards. For example, the sexual harassment training. We did not take DCAS's sexual harassment training. However, we did provide our own training, which was in 3 parts. We had a presentation, we had a quiz, and then we had an instructor-led interactive discussion and dialogue. So we are not necessarily following the training that they're providing as
Was it
DCAS.
live? Was it like a literal person who did that?
Yes, me,
Oh, really?
yes. Me and Leticia, Director of Research. So, I think that when these instances come up, we haven't had a place yet, putting that out there, where it's been a source of contention. Again, we're not trying to,
I'm just playing it
Yeah,
out,
like
I'm not, I am not.
no, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't really know. I think it would have to really depend on the situation and what the play out would be if we did.
No, I think Arvid's right, which is what enforcement piece, much of this has no enforcement. DCAS has no way of enforcing it, and it's all really in the realm of body politics, so it's really looking at what might happen if it went out and the public, someone reached out to the public saying that we were not participating, or goes to the mayor and says we're not participating.
Right, but then we have it on record because everything that we've also, if we are going to not be participating in a particular invite or request or what have you, we will be providing a justification and information to them in writing. We're not gonna just ignore it. We're going to be putting forth a letter that says, you requested this on this date and we don't follow citywide policy, but however, in accordance with our policy, this is what we do. We had to do that recently for, the OCEI was requesting that agencies provide a certification of the agency head that the reporting relationship between the EEO officer was a direct one between the EEO officer and the agency head. And they had an affirmation form that they wanted everyone to fill out. We did not fill it out, however, we did send a letter in lieu of it saying that we don't follow citywide policy, however, in conformance with our uniform standards, we do have a direct reporting relationship. So we're not saying, we're not ignoring that, we're just providing it so that it's in accordance to what the agency, the EPC does.
Are there instances when there might be a conflict in practice where the EPC is not, from your knowledge and your awareness, the EPC is not participating in any sort of parallel process that DCAS is requiring other city agencies to participate in? I'm trying to.
To my knowledge, no, we really haven't had anything like that.
Yeah.
I think our standards are predicated upon best practices in addition to local laws and regulations. So we're kind of more encompassing, I feel
I
like.
was just gonna say, I think
So,
the difference is that we probably do more
Yeah,
than they require.
yeah, exactly.
At which point you're like the state that has stricter laws than the federal standards.
Right, so I think that so far, we haven't had anything that's been wildly different.
And then do we expect this resolution to trigger any contention, or is this clarifying current practice?
I think it's just clarifying, it's memorializing that the EPC Board of Commissioners are, approving that this is the way that the EPC is going to be handling it, even though we've already provided in a letter to, DCAS info. I don't think it's going to trigger. I think, again, we've really put it forth to DCAS, and they've been, the OCEI has been pretty receptive that we're not trying to buck you, but we have our own independent, we are an independent agency, we're not a mayoral agency, and so we're not bound by the CY policy. And, so let's be collaborative in terms of, we'll let you know why we're not complying, and, then usually it doesn't seem to be an issue.
And I go back to my point, which is once you put it in writing, you may get someone's backup, and so then it becomes then what.
Right.
And I don't have any problem with doing it, but we ought to be prepared to get a response that we don't like,
Right.
and then what do we do about it?
Well, we have put it in writing, we just haven't put it in the form of a resolution. We've, on multiple occasions, but both myself and Judith have sent letters to, various parts of OCEI and DCAS indicating that we are not going to be doing X because we don't follow the citywide policy or whatever. So this is not like a new thing, this is more just a memorialization of it.
Yeah, but this is coming from the board, this is coming from the commissioner, so it's now an official policy as opposed to
Right.
an individual working for it, which may or may not create a different response.
It makes your lives easier that you don't have to
Anyway.
consistently respond.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion on this? Can I call a vote? Alright, someone's gotta propose the resolution.
So are we accepting the resolution? Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Proposing to accept the
Right.
resolution?
Yeah, we're moving, we're moving resolution 2019/234R2, resolution regarding the reporting relationship between the EEPC and DCAS. May I have a
We have a motion to accept the
Motion.
resolution. Yeah.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't know why it's not, oh,
My end is clear. Thanks.
Okay, so that's approved. The next thing is old business, local law 13, raw data collection.
this is very brief, local law 13 requires, the EPC to collect data, do an analysis and make recommendations. We've talked about this in great depth previously. We, have been trying to get a strategy together in terms of how we're going to be collecting the raw data, whether we're going to be getting it from the mayor's office analytics, or directly from DCAS, and I think we've, again, I haven't been 100% involved in all these discussions as more director of research, but, my understanding is that we're going to be requesting data directly from DCAS because the Office of Mayor Analytics takes DCAS's data and,
Squishes it.
not manipulates it, that's a poor choice of words, analyzes it and produces whatever it is that they produce, and so rather than us getting that production, we're gonna request the raw data directly from DCAS. So that is more just, Sharice wanted to keep,
Yeah,
the board in the loop about how we plan to proceed on data collection, which is the first step of meeting our local law 13 requirement.
We need an attendance sheet.
Oh, right here,
Thanks.
forgive me,
Is this okay since Maline's not here?
yes.
Can I say a clarifying question about local law 13? Are we, pursuant to the law, is the data required to be posted to the open data portal? I assume that it's public information.
Yeah, I think after, are you talking about the raw data or what we end up producing in terms of our, analysis of the data?
Both.
I'm not sure about the raw data, I would have to look into that. I would imagine that ours is going to have to be posted to open data because it is public
Yeah.
report that we will be providing to, I believe, city council and mayor.
Yeah.
But that's not coming for a while, so.
Yeah.
I can find out for you.
I'm sure it's in if it's required, it'll be in the law, I think.
Well, DCAS does its own data collection just as part of being DCAS, they do the seeds data collection. I don't think seeds is on open data because it may contain confidential information, but I don't know for certain. So that's really it.
Now,
Sharice.
our duty to report is in 2021, is that right? The legislation that requires us, it mandates us,
Yes.
is 2021, and my recollection is that that required, at least a new hire, if not two new hires for us, because the current, the current staffing can't do that based on their current workload. So where are we with those, with the new hires, do we have any idea?
I'm not part of that process.
Right, so-
I really can't speak to it. I wish I could, but this is where Sharice would probably be better equipped. I do believe that we're still in the process of trying to get approval for those. I don't think we've
That's what
gotten
I,
approval yet.
that's what I thought
I
we
don't
were.
think, I do not think we've received approval yet, but I can't speak for certain.
I mean, my recollection was that one of the needs was to have a specialist in labor economics.
Mhm.
And that the bill certainly talked to that, because that's really what it was looking at. It was not only looking at raw data, but it was looking at skills and positions.
Right. And that's part of the analysis, and so not only are we going to do the data collection, but we'll have to do the analysis. And
That's
what
right,
we
that's
need
an
to do.
analytic work, and
Exactly.
so I don't know, so I just, if you could find out so that someone could report back to us
Absolutely.
under old business, but where we are on not only the data collection, but, I'm gonna use that evil word you didn't use before, but the manipulation of that data, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the handling of the data and understanding what it all means, and where there are new needs or new opportunities for hire. Okay, anything else?
That is it for that.
Okay, number 5, audit update. Status of the sexual harassment prevention and response practices and community board audits.
We're doing well. We are going to be putting forth for you an additional 8 final determinations, which means that those 8 agencies will be going into compliance monitoring, in addition to 2 compliance resolutions for 2 agencies that have completed compliance. That puts us up to 37 agencies that we've issued a compliance resolution to this year. In terms of 37,
That's one more than we need to.
and we will have more before the end of the year, I can assure you. Yes. We have, our team is, our team is working really hard out there. We have 13 agencies current, from the 2019 plan, that are currently in compliance monitoring. And we've sent out 38 final determinations so far, which means that 38 out of 48 agencies are either in compliance monitoring or have completed compliance for the 2019 audit plan. We only have 10 other agencies that we're still working on the audits for, and we anticipate that they will be in compliance monitoring by the end of the year as well. So,
Fantastic.
of the 48 agencies, we're hoping that we get all 48 into compliance monitoring by the end of the year.
Wow.
That's our plan.
Wow.
Great.
So,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. So we're working hard. I think we're doing great, and that's where we are.
48.
Okay,
Wow.
so we now need a vote on the final determination resolutions. Resolution 2019 AP/234-073, Board of Correction. Resolution 2019 AP/234-850, Department of Design and Construction. Resolution 2019 AP/806, Department of Housing Preservation and Development. Resolution 2019 AP/234-067, Administration for Children's Services. Resolution 2019 AP/234-998, New York City Economic Development Corporation. Resolution 2019 AP/234-478, Brooklyn Community Board Number 8. Resolution 2019 AP/234-476, Brooklyn Community Board Number 6. Resolution 2019 AP/234-019, Office of Management and Budget. Just an aside, you've got a good number of employees in here, because you've got several huge employers. Corrections, Design and Construction, and OMB are huge employers.
Yes.
We're talking about a lot of city employees that you've audited and found, whatever you found on them. But you found compliance by and large.
Yeah, we have, the number of corrective actions are really not that significant, except for a couple of agencies, they're usually like 2 or 3. Which is why it's a realistic possibility for them to be able to achieve compliance before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, can I have a vote on these?
I move to approve these resolutions.
Seconded,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Well, thank you very much, dear,
That's
wonderful.
Fantastic, yeah, lot of work.
it is a lot of work, but we have a really strong team and, they take a real personal pride in reaching these numbers. It's not just a job for them, I feel like it really is an accomplishment on their part too.
That's great.
Let's vote on the, let's vote on A for compliance update, compliance resolution, resolution 2019 AP 234 836 Department of Finance, and resolution 29 AP 234 476 Brooklyn Community Board number 6. So they not only went to final determination, but in one fell swoop, then compliance as well?
Yes, they had no corrective actions and they issued their
Wow.
final action memo, very quickly. And so we were able to issue the final determination, and the compliance resolution, I think the same, or within 2 days.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, may I have,
Yeah, great.
will someone please, vote,
Make a motion?
motion,
Make a motion to accept the resolutions as presented.
seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passed. Okay, resolution 2019-234R3, a resolution to extend compliance monitoring and employment practices and procedures audit of the Office of Queens County District Attorney. I don't think we really need any discussion of what that's about, and I think we can agree, we have to vote. We get a vote to approve that resolution,
It is a resolution for, a 1-month extension,
yeah.
and they have implemented half of their corrective actions, so there's not that many left.
Terrific.
And they're working with us, both the analyst, myself, and the manager on the audit to try to implement those.
Okay, I need a motion,
I move to approve this resolution.
a second, and,
A second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
This is that resolution.
And that looks like we're finished. Anything more? Anybody wanna have any new business, any discussion? Alright, if so, I move to adjourn.